the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we'll go over the latest news and rumors on your Kansas City Chiefs as we'll be talking about a potential trade for Tyreek Hill. Also, we will preview next Monday's matchup between the Chiefs and the Saints. I'll tell you what you need to watch for from that matchup. We will also go over the latest Chiefs injury news, where things stack up and where the Chiefs go from here. And we'll do a Q&A mailbag as well coming up in just a matter of moments. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling here on this Tuesday afternoon. Jonesy here, Big Tex on the ones and twos. Thanks for spending part of your afternoon with us here on the channel today. I got Tony. He's always in the chat. Tony never misses the show. He's checking in from El Paso. I got Ty Man the Buckeye from Ohio. And Paul from New York. I got Hector in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to be in Phoenix here in a couple days, Hector. Going out to the see my Kansas Jayhawks play against Arizona State on Saturday night. So this should be a lot of fun. I got Charles in Spokane. I got Matthew in Oregon. I got Guillermo in St. Louis. Got Taylor in Washington. Jesse, why am I wearing a headset? That way I can talk to you guys, obviously. I got Robert in Flagstaff. I got Catnip in North Carolina. Trey King in Cape Coral, Florida. I got Lisa in Parsons, Kansas. I got Tuck in Clinton, Oklahoma. I got Rugby in Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. Good to see everybody here. Who's a player you're watching for this week against the New Orleans Saints? Who's a player that comes to mind that you think will have a big game this upcoming week against New Orleans? Weigh in the chat right now and let us know who you think will show up and show out against New Orleans. Weigh in, let us know right now. I see Tony saying Juju. That'd be nice. Juju could do so. I got to tell you, I'm watching out for Xavier Worthy, and we're going to talk about Xavier Worthy coming up later. I think that the Chiefs are going to be asking a lot of Xavier Worthy with not having Rashee Rice on the football field. Lisa's saying Travis Kelce. I got Staffen checking in from Stockholm, Sweden. KU alum, very good. Good to see a fellow Jayhawk in the chat. Charles says Kareem Hunt. Cooking with Riders says Xavier Worthy. Luke says Kareem Hunt. Robert says Sky Moore. Trey King says Patrick Mahomes. Paul says Kareem Hunt. Ethan says Kelsey's going to shock the world. Joe says Kareem Hunt. Rugby says Carson Steele. Hector says Justin Watson. Local John says Xavier Worthy. Kingdom says Xavier Worthy. Guillermo says Travis Kelce. And Ty Man the Buckeye says Kareem Hunt. All right. Oh, yes. Before we go any further in today's show, let's go ahead and tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered, including to see your Kansas City Chiefs. Looking for tickets for Monday night against the Saints? They got it for you, folks. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, check out their seat views, and get the visual to see what those seats are like. And then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Who do you got? Chiefs or Saints? Type KC for Chiefs. Type no for the New Orleans Saints. Get your predictions in now. I'm feeling pretty good about the Chiefs' chances against the Saints. They have owned Derek Carr over the years. I'll go over some more of those numbers when we get to our games segment coming up later on. But Rugby, Tony, Paul, Kingdom, Tony, Chiefs, Hector, Lisa, Guillermo, Kevin, Brian, Ethan, Guillermo, everybody's saying Chiefs. Rugby's saying 32-17. Catnip is saying 20-16. Staffen is saying KC all day long. Go Chiefs. Local John is saying KC gets it done. Get your predictions in now. Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Let us know. Big Tex is on the ones and twos hanging out with us today. Always a pleasure anytime that I get to share this platform with the one and only Big Tex.
Likewise, brother.
Big Tex, good to see you here, my friend.
Yes,
why
sir.
don't we, I think, to get you involved in the show
Yep.
and to get the chat rolling, I need everybody for the next minute to spam C. If you want a shout-out from Big Tex, here's your chance to do so. Spam C in the chat. I want to see as many C's as we can over this next minute and see who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP on today's show. Get the C's going. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's get it. Taylor, Trey, Ethan, John, Taylor, Stephen, Rugby, Hector, Paul, Guillermo, Tony, Ethan, Catnip, Lisa, Rugby, PGR, Tony, Braden, Taylor, Paul, Bryce, Local John, Ethan, Braden, Paul, Catnip, Hector, Catnip, Lisa. It's me, Braden, Ethan, Lisa, Hector, Local John, Paul, Tony, Hector, Lisa, Rugby, Tony.
30
Ryan,
seconds in. Keep going.
Asia, Paul, Hector, Lisa, Paul, A.M. Miller, Lisa, Tony, Hector, Brian, Paul, Tony, Fuemo Fire. Sorry, I can't say your name. Hector, Lisa, Hector, Braden, Paul, A.M., Ethan, Braden, Rugby. Keep going. Asia, Taylor, Cooking.
10
John,
seconds left. Finish
Paul,
strong.
It's me. Finish. PGR, Tony, Lucas, Ethan, Asia, Luke, Taylor, Hector, Paul, Ethan, PGR, Lisa, Hector, Lisa. Good stuff.
Nice work. Nice work, everybody. Thank you, chat, for getting involved in that. We're at 33 likes right now. I need to get to 50 to start today's show. I will crack open a cold can of Coors Light when we reach 50 likes. The mountains are blue, so that way you know it's legit. We got some cold beer for you. But we need to get to 50 likes. So do your part. Like the video. Easy way to help us out, support the show and the work we're doing here, bringing you free Chiefs content here on today's show. Tony says he always likes the video. Thank you, Tony. I can always count on Tony. 10 more likes, and then we can get this thing started here today because we got a fun show on tap, but we need you guys' help. Make sure to like that video, and I'll open a cold coolers when we get to 50 likes. There it is, 50 likes. Great work. Reminder, we do have a mailbag coming up later. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. The dollar side is next to the chat box. Super Chats will get priority. We'll answer those questions first and then get to the other ones after that. The only way you can guarantee that you'll be on the mailbag is by sending a Super Chat. I didn't see any Super Chats come through on last week's show, and I'll be honest, it was a little embarrassing compared to the rest of the channels here at Chat Sports. So we got to make sure we do our part. I would love to see at least one Super Chat come in today. Could be for $1, could be $50. I don't care. I want you guys to make your voices heard loud and clear and see if we can get at least one Super Chat today and make that happen. And speaking of Super Chats, let's go to the Super Chat menu, show you what we are offering the Kingdom today. Here is your chance to get some love here on today's show. First time Super Chatter, you get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat, we'll sing you the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat, we will take down some shots. $20 Super Chat, we'll get Bean Boozled with the spicy jelly beans. I got Sriracha, Jalapeno, Cayenne, Habanero, Carolina Reaper. And then $50 Super Chat, we'll get out the beer bong in all its glory. We'll see if you guys can make that happen today and make this a worthwhile show. I already see a couple Super Chats rolling in. There we go. Nice work, everybody. Much better than last week. After not getting a single one, we got 2 to start off the show. I see the Chiefs Kingdom has awoken up and arisen here on the program today. So that's very good news. That's great to set the tone for the rest of the week because you guys know how it works. When we drink, we score. We drink, we win. So if you want the Chiefs to beat the Saints, then we got to get drinking early as we got still a week to go. We're getting things started a little bit earlier. So appreciate you guys doing that. And we'll continue here on today's show. We'll catch up on these Super Chats in a moment. And then we'll get started with our news and rumors as we'll be talking Kingdom first. First time Super Chatter. You were there a moment ago. Okay, that's fine. Kingdom, Wealth Coach, a first time Super Chatter. Everybody spam Kingdom. Spam Kingdom. Kingdom, I need some coaching on your wealth. How do I get rich? How do I get rich, Kingdom? Tell me what I need to do to get rich. I love that. Thanks for being a first-time Super Chatter. We will give you the KC chant. Everybody spam Kingdom in the chat. Show some love for the Kingdom Wealth Coach himself. This one's for Kingdom. Kansas City! There we go. There we go. Thank you, Kingdom Wealth Coach. Thanks for sending in that $2 Super Chat. Get involved on today's show. Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second. Cooking with Ryder also checking in with a $2 Super Chat. Says, go Chiefs! I love it, Cooking with Ryder. Let's cook up the New Orleans Saints this week. Cheers to you, Cooking with Ryder. By the way, we're also keeping tabs on the Royals playoff game as they're taking on the Baltimore Orioles in the wild card round, game number 1. You know, in my lifetime, folks, every time the Royals have been to the postseason, they've been to the World Series. So I'm hoping that they keep that up and that this Royals team can get to the World Series. And, you know, I'll be honest, I am a Royals fan, but I don't ask much out of the Royals. All I ask them to do is, can you be competitive enough to get me to training camp? Can you get me to Chiefs training camp? Nice. There's the score. 1-0. 8th inning. That's all I ask out of the Royals. Can you get me to Chiefs training camp, and then I can ignore you from there on out? And now here we are, postseason baseball. We're in the top of the 9th inning, and the Royals are pretty close to potentially winning this one. So good to see our Royals show it up and show it out. Spam KC for the Chiefs. Spam KC for the Royals. We're certainly rooting them on, and hopefully they can win this game and advance to the next round. It's a best of 3 in the wild card round for the Royals. Where are my Royals fans in the chat? Who else watching this game with us right now as the Royals just got on base? A single to open up the 9th inning. Maybe they could extend this lead a bit. Where are my Royals fans at? I want to hear from my Royals fans. I know we're not just Chiefs fans. I know we're Royals fans. I want to see the chat and tell me about this game. Tony, I can't do play-by-play because we got segments to do, but we will keep you posted on what's going on with the Royals right now. Brian's watching the game. Lisa also shouting out the Royals. So is Paul. Very good to see. All right, here's what's coming up. Latest news and rumors in your Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk Tyreek Hill. Also, Chiefs-Saints preview. We'll go over my keys to victory and what's it going to take for the Chiefs to beat the Saints. Also, how does this keep happening? That's the question that I have when it comes to the Chiefs injury report. What the hell is going on? I'll explain what the Chiefs need to do to figure out this situation when it comes to the injuries. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And then we'll get to Q&A Rumors mailbag segment as well. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Up next, it's our news and rumors. Let's talk about a potential return for Tyreek Hill and let you know everything you need to know about that possibility. And then we'll get to the rest of today's show here in just a moment. Royals leading the Orioles 1-0. We'll keep you posted on what's going on in that game. Top of the 9th inning with the Royals on top in that one. We'll see what's going on there throughout the show. Keep you posted on that front. Right now, let's start with our news and rumors. We begin with Tyreek Hill. Could he make a return to Kansas City? Let's talk about it right now here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, starting right now. Could Tyreek Hill be making a return to Kansas City after the injury to Rashee Rice? We will examine the latest trade rumors on the Miami Dolphins wide receiver coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on the Chiefs Report today. Folks, we are getting very, very close to 59,000 subscribers on the channel. Less than 500 away, just over 400 from reaching that next milestone. For daily coverage you won't find anywhere else, in addition to our live shows we do on Tuesdays, our watch parties on game days, Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. It's all right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed. If you're a real member of the Chiefs Kingdom, you got to be subbed to the Chiefs Report. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV for the latest happenings on your Kansas City Chiefs all year long. And we'll get started with today's show. Could Tyreek Hill make a return to KC? How likely is it? Is it in the cards for the Kansas City Chiefs to even pull off at this point? Tyreek Hill has had a very good tenure in Miami, but he's missed out on 2 Super Bowl rings that the Chiefs have picked up since he left town. And with the way the Dolphins season is going, downhill quickly, while the Chiefs are sitting here with an undefeated record, but very injury-riddled, does a reunion between these two parties make sense? A lot of rumblings going on about this possibility. Let's start with this from Athlon Sports' Zachary Neal. For the Chiefs, it could be a championship-caliber trade. Kansas City is trying to make NFL history this year, going for their 3rd straight Super Bowl win. After a 4-0 start to the season, it's clear that they have the offensive firepower to get back to the mountaintop. But without Rashee Rice playing for the foreseeable future and potentially the rest of the season, it could be time that they make a move. Here's the reality for the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're going to go over all the financials and how things stack up in just a moment. This is a pipe dream. Now, not saying that Brett Veach and Andy Reid can't work a little magic potentially, but at least for now, we are a long ways off from this being a possibility at the moment. Let's just start with the draft compensation it would take to pull this off before we even talk about the money situation. DraftKings had this trade proposal they put out there where the Chiefs get Tyreek Hill back in exchange for giving up a 1st-round pick in 2025, a 4th-round pick in 2025, and a 6th-round pick in 2026. That is a lot to give up for one of the best receivers in football. But that's not all when it comes down to what this would take. Here's what you need to know. With Miami, if they trade Tyreek Hill now, they would still take on a near $42 million cap hit in 2025. So that doesn't look great for the Dolphins, where they're still going to have to pay Tyreek Hill whether he's on their roster or not. And think about this. Hill next season would still be owed $24 million based on how many games he's played. So not only would the Dolphins, even if they depart from him, have to take that big hit, but still have to pay him, that's a lot of money. Now, when it comes to this year's situation of why the Dolphins potentially could want to move on from Tyreek Hill, their season is going downhill quickly. Their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, suffered that concussion against the Buffalo Bills. He's not expected to return until at least week 8. And this season is falling apart quickly for the Miami Dolphins. So, with that in mind, when the trade deadline gets here, if they're out of contention, they could be sellers looking to move on from some of their more higher-priced players like Tyreek Hill potentially. Now, Tyreek Hill, if you recall, on Monday night, when the Miami Dolphins lost to the Tennessee Titans, one of the worst teams in the league, Hill was visibly upset. He doesn't seem happy with the situation there in Miami right now. And his cap hit for this year is about $18.27 million. Now, of that 18, obviously the Dolphins have already paid some of that money. So if the Chiefs were to take him on now, they wouldn't take on the entire cap hit. But when you look at the Chiefs' cap space, it's the same problem that they had when they moved on from him the first time. The money just isn't there at the moment. Now, granted, you could move some money around when you talk about giving some extensions and restructuring some players, but at the moment, the Chiefs only have about $5 million in cap space. Even if the Chiefs wanted to bring in Tyreek Hill, the financial implications simply don't work for either side involved. Not saying that things can't change and they can't move some money around, but at least at the surface level, this doesn't add up. As Dave Ramsey says, you got to make the money work for you. Well, in this case, the money's not working for either side to pull off this trade at the moment. Should the Chiefs trade for Tyreek Hill? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know what you think. Type T for trade, P for pass. Let me know if you think they should bring in Tyreek or not. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events like your Kansas City Chiefs, maybe you want to see them on Monday night, maybe you want to go to a Kansas City Royals playoff game, whatever it is, they have the prices listed when you select an event. Then you choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. When it comes to Tyreek Hill, you're not going to find a receiver in the National Football League with a better resume than Tyreek Hill. He is a future first ballot Hall of Famer, an 8-time Pro Bowler, a 5-team first-team All-Pro. Also was on the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team, won a Super Bowl with Kansas City just last season. Led the league in receiving yards and was the co-leader in receiving touchdowns as well. By saying no to a trade to Tyreek Hill, it's not an indictment at all on Tyreek Hill's talent level. Tyreek Hill would be a huge impact player and a difference maker for this Kansas City Chiefs team, obviously. Nobody's denying that. But with what it would take to get this done, it just doesn't add up with where the Chiefs are at and where the Dolphins are at. This is not a knock on Tyreek Hill at all. You look at the statistics, he's just been outstanding, right? Last year, nearly 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns. The year prior to that, 1,700 yards, 7 touchdowns. And there was a big question mark about Tyreek Hill when he left Kansas City. Was he a product of the system in KC? Could he still be an elite receiver playing with Tua and going to Miami? And if anything, he's gotten better as he's gotten older and as he's taken on this new challenge. Sure, he hasn't had the playoff success and he's missed out on the Super Bowls that he could have been part of in Kansas City, but he's still been very, very good, arguably the best in the league at that point. Now for the Chiefs going forward from here. With the injury to Rashee Rice, Patrick Mahomes, his situation that's unfolding in front of him, with the guys that they've lost already. We'll go over that here in just a moment. What this reminds me of, folks, is what Tom Brady had to deal with in his final years in New England. The cupboards were bare. I mean, they were picking up guys that played lacrosse to go play receiver for the Patriots with Tom Brady there. And now you look at this Chiefs situation, they're just going to have to put all their hope, all their trust and faith in Patrick Mahomes to get the most out of what he can with this limited sample size to work with in Kansas City right now. Because remember, Rashee Rice isn't the only injury. You got Marquise Brown with the shoulder injury. He's on IR. He's not expected to be back till January. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, remember him? Yeah, he's on the non-football injury list right now, and there's no signs of him returning anytime soon. Isaiah Pacheco with the lower leg injury. He's on IR. Should still be about 4 to 6 more weeks before he potentially makes his return. And then Rashee Rice. At the time of this recording, the Chiefs are fearing that it could be season-ending for Rashee Rice with that knee injury, a possible torn ACL there. Right now, what the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are experiencing is their toughest challenge yet. That's the reality of this situation. Because even the last 2 seasons, when the receiving core wasn't that great, you still had Pacheco to fall back on and had a very good rushing game. Granted, the rushing game's been solid the last 2 weeks from what we've seen from Steele and P. Ryan and Kareem Hunt, but it's still not what it was with Pacheco. Now you look at this receiving room in Kansas City here with Rice injured. Xavier Worthy is going to have to be more than a gadget player. They're going to need him to be consistent. You're going to need more from Travis Kelce. He's going to need to play like he did against the LA Chargers. Justin Watson, Juju, Sky Moore can't be dropping easy passes like he did last week either. McCole Hardman, we're going to need to see more out of him as well. Do you still believe in this Chiefs offense? Can they get the job done with the way things stand right now? Weigh in, let us know. Type B for Believe. D for don't. Chime in. Tell me what you think. Subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report for continuing Kansas City Chiefs coverage all season long. We got you covered. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. So that is one segment down. We got 3 more to go. What do you guys think? Should the Chiefs trade for Tyreek Hill? T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in. Let us know what you think. Super chat menu as well if you guys want to get involved in today's show. And don't forget to get your questions in the mailbag. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on today's show. Joe says pass. Lisa says pass. Try Young says pass. Luke says pass. Tony says pass. It's interesting. Everybody in the chat saying pass, but the poll question, 68% of you saying yes, 32% saying no. I'll put it this way, Tex, before we get to our next segment. I'd be curious your thoughts on this. If you could somehow pull it off, by all means, I would take Tyreek Hill back tomorrow. But I don't think that you can. Like, if you ask me, you put that offer in front of me that we showed you earlier for first, what was it, like a 4th and a 6th? Yeah, I'll take that offer. But I just don't see the Chiefs being able to make that work. If I can do it, I'll do it, but I don't think they can. All right. All right, Tex, go ahead. Your thoughts on a potential trade for Tyreek?
Yeah, I agree. I think the financial aspect is the biggest limiting factor here for the Chiefs, for Brett Veach, if you will.
It's not an indictment on Hill.
No, like you said, he's arguably gotten better after he went to the Dolphins, but you just can't financially risk that for the chance that he'll be the same player on the Chiefs. Like, who's to say he'll be the same? He's going to a different offense.
He's talked about retiring early, too. I didn't mention that part.
True.
But I think that's worth mentioning as well. All right, let's get to our game preview now. Chiefs and Saints, my keys to victory. We'll go over the injury report, prediction, and more coming up as we continue with our live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report here on this Tuesday afternoon. Let's get started right now here on today's show. We'll get rolling. You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. It is week number 5 in the National Football League as your Kansas City Chiefs look to keep the undefeated season alive as they face the New Orleans Saints. The Chiefs come in to Monday night's matchup as 5-point favorites. The over-under set at 42.5 for this game. The Saints, they've had their moments this year. Blowout wins to start the season against Carolina and against Dallas. What version of the Saints we shall see, we'll find out in just a matter of moments. Before we go any further in today's show, if you want the Chiefs to beat the Saints, I need you to like today's video. Don't jinx it. If we get at least 500 likes on today's show, that guarantees victory. And if you doubt me on that, folks, it's worked every week so far this season. So why would you doubt me now? Do your part, like the video, don't jinx it for a Chiefs win, and we'll get rolling here on today's program. Let's start with the injury report for Kansas City. 2 players from the active roster on the injury report. Wide receiver Rashee Rice is out with a knee injury. He will not play. While defensive end Mike Dana is questionable with a calf injury for Kansas City. The injury report for the New Orleans Saints is a bit lengthy themselves, as Cesar Ruiz, their offensive guard, is questionable with a knee injury. Demario Davis, the outside linebacker, is questionable with a hamstring injury. A.T. Perry, their wide receiver, is questionable with a hamstring injury. And then our old friend Tyrann Mathieu with a groin injury. He is questionable. We'll see if he gets to make his return to KC for the first time or not. Taysom Hill, the tight end, quarterback extraordinaire, ribs injury. He's questionable. And then another former Chief as well, Willie Gay Jr., questionable with a hand injury. So we shall see if Mathieu and Gay make their returns to Arrowhead or not coming up on Monday. Now, let's get to our keys to victory. What's it going to take to defeat the New Orleans Saints? Well, number one, it's going to require the Chiefs to be aggressive in getting after Derek Carr. Derek Carr has looked pretty decent to begin the 2024 campaign. A completion percentage of 72%. He's thrown for over 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. Looks very good in those first 2 games of the season. And what I've seen from Derek Carr, what he's done effectively, is that he's not trying to force the football down the field. A lot of checkdowns, a lot of the short stuff, kind of like an Alex Smith type of game plan that we've seen from Derek Carr throughout the first couple of weeks of the season. But the Chiefs, they've had their way with Derek Carr over the years. From the time that he was in Las Vegas, folks, in 17 career starts, Derek Carr has a career 3-14 record. What a fraud. Disgusting, right? And the last game that the Chiefs played against Derek Carr was when he was with the Raiders back on October 10th of 2022. So just about 2 years ago, the Chiefs won that game 30-29. So it's safe to say the Chiefs have been Derek Carr's daddy. And daddy is ready to give Derek Carr a spanking here this weekend. See what I did there? Who do you got? Who wins? The Chiefs or the Saints? Type KC for Chiefs. Type no for the New Orleans Saints. You better not be typing no. Type KC for Chiefs. Give that spanking in the chat to Derek Carr. Let him know what's up of who you got to win this one. We will be live on Monday night for the Chiefs and Saints, our watch party on Monday Night Football. Donna. Hang out with us. Don't worry about hanging out with Joe Buck and the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. Keep it locked in to the Chiefs Report. We'll do an hour-long pregame show. Big Tex is going to be here with me. It is going to be a great time. Chiefs and Saints on Monday Night Football. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. That way you're here with us from start to finish. We'll do our hour-long pregame. We'll be live throughout the game, do a postgame show as well, all right here on the Chiefs Report. We will see you on Monday night. Number 2, with the question marks to the skill positions, with no Rashee Rice, no Hollywood Brown, no Isaiah Pacheco. There's one man in particular that needs to step up for this Kansas City Chiefs team. All eyes are going to be on Mr. Swift himself, Travis Kelce. We need to see more out of Travis Kelce. So far to start the season, Kelce has yet to get to the end zone. He's been limited to 15 catches for 158 yards and close to 11 yards a reception. But the hope is for Kansas City that last week's game against the Chargers was a breakout game for Travis Kelce, that hopefully it is a sign of things to come for the Kansas City Chiefs tight end, as he had his best game yet. He had more yards against the Chargers than he did in the entire season leading up to that Week 4 matchup. He had 89 total yards. He had 69 on the season going in. So Travis Kelce, I know they might double team you, they might triple team you, they might quadruple team you, but you got to find a way to get open and get involved. We know he's the best in the business. Travis Kelce, it's put up or shut up time. We need to see Travis Kelce play at a high level. Number 3, red zone scoring, red zone offense for this Kansas City Chiefs team. They need to capitalize in the red zone. Look, you don't settle for the friend zone. You want to get to the end zone. And that's the case for this Kansas City Chiefs team. And you look at their red zone offense, it hasn't been that great to start off the 2024 campaign, folks. They are settling for too many field goals from Harrison Butker. I love me some Harrison Butker, don't get me wrong. But the last thing I want to see when you get inside the 20-yard line is number 7 coming out there and having to settle for 3 points. Those need to be touchdowns. The Chiefs' red zone scoring touchdown percentage right now is currently 45.45%. That's 24th best in the NFL. How does that happen when you have an offense with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes? Now, comparably speaking, the other side for the New Orleans Saints, their red zone defense has been pretty dang good so far this season. They have held their opponents to a red zone scoring touchdown percentage of 22.22%. That's first in the NFL. So that means, to put this in simple terms for you here, that in 5 attempts, roughly speaking, the Saints are only giving up 1 touchdown in the red zone for every 5 attempts. They are very good in that area. The Chiefs are going to need to do what they can to capitalize and punch it in the end zone. Who will be the Chiefs MVP against the Saints? Let me know. Give me a player that comes to mind that you think is going to step up this week. Way in the comments section, let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets because who the hell wants to do that? You choose the event you want to go to. Maybe it's a Kansas City Chiefs game. Maybe you want to see the Royals in the postseason or Sporting Kansas City, whoever it may be. You choose your seat. You get the visual. See what that seat is like with their 3D view. They call it Seat Views. And then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. They also have their super deals. If you see a super deal, you can't pass up on it. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry, even more flexible than Simone Biles. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. He is worthy. He is worthy. Xavier Worthy. I believe he's worthy, but we need to see it now more than ever from the Chiefs rookie receiver. He's off to a good start to this season, but I think the ongoing theme for Xavier Worthy of what we're going to talk about from here on out is that Xavier Worthy can't just be a gadget player. All right? What was that movie back in the day, Inspector Gadget? Yeah. No Inspector Gadget here. We want Xavier Worthy to be worthy and be a reliable, constant receiver. Good start to the season. I think last week was a very strong showing when he had that 50-plus yard touchdown, 3 catches for 73 yards. But here's the thing. With no Rashee Rice involved, what did Rashee do so well the last 2 seasons? It was getting the constant first downs, getting the 10-yard, the 12-yard, the 13-yard catches. Xavier Worthy, I love it when he goes deep and when he can bring in the long ball or when they can use him in some of those reverse plays like we saw that opening touchdown to start the year, week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. All that's cool and all. But Xavier Worthy, I'll be honest, if you can just catch the ball and get me 10 yards or 15 yards, just get me some first downs, that's what this team is looking for. I just need a little more of that from Xavier Worthy as they change up the offense a little bit with Rashee Rice out. Last on our list of keys to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs is George Karlaftis. We need George Karlaftis to step up. Karlaftis was fantastic as a sophomore last year. So far to start the season, he's been pretty quiet. I mean, you might as well put him on a milk carton because he's been missing to start off this 2024 campaign. Just 1 sack in 4 games played, 2 tackles for loss, 10 tackles. And there's really no excuse for Karlaftis not to be playing better than what he has because you think about it, who's taking on the double teams? It's not Karlaftis, it's Chris Jones. That should be opening up things for Karlaftis to go after the quarterback and do his thing. He's missing out on opportunities. And to take it a step further, when we're comparing these 2 teams, let's give you this stat here. Give me that stat. The Chiefs' defense has a sack rate from every play from scrimmage at 5.67%, 26th best in the NFL. In a nutshell, it's not very good. Meanwhile, the Saints have done a very good job of protecting Derek Carr. The Saints' offense has a sack rate of 3.81%, which is the 3rd best in the NFL. So, Chiefs, got to do a better job. Got to get after the quarterback. Got to get some pressure on Derek Carr. Karlaftis, I'm looking at you. You need to do it, my man. Now you've seen my keys to victory. What is your key to victory to beating the New Orleans Saints? Whether it's something I said or something else, your chance to weigh in. Let us know what you think. So to recap, before I give you my prediction for Monday night, here are our keys to victory to beating the New Orleans Saints, getting after Derek Carr, that fraud, more Travis Kelce, red zone offense, got to get Xavier Worthy involved more consistently, and we need George Karlaftis to step up. If the Chiefs do all those things, they'll be in great shape. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to get it done 24-14. If you enjoyed today's show, you want the Chiefs to win, do your part. Like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. We will see you next time right here on the Chiefs Report. All right. 2 down, 2 to go. Next, we're going to talk about the Chiefs' injury situation. How does this keep happening? Well, we'll talk about it. Who do you got, Chiefs or Saints? Tony's saying KC. Royals just won, by the way. Royals have won, and now they are 1 win away from advancing to the divisional round. Let's go, Royals! We told you we'd keep you updated on that game. The Royals found a way to get it done, so very good to see. There's the Super Chat menu. We got 2 more segments left. If you want on the mailbag, you can Super Chat, get your questions first in line, or you can use the hashtag Chiefs to get your questions as well. Big Tex, we certainly could use some more questions. And that's what we're offering today. First time Super Chat, get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat, we'll sing you the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat, we'll take down some shots. $20 Super Chat, we'll get Bean Boozled. $50 Super Chat, we'll do a beer ball. Up next, how does this keep happening? Let's talk about the injury situation for the Chiefs and where this team goes from here. We will bring that to you right now. Tom asks, how long is Rice out for? We do not know, but it doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. So that's the extent of things. When we get more updates, we will update you here on the channel. Let's go ahead and get started with segment 3 here on the Chiefs Report. Here we go. How does this keep happening? The Chiefs continue to get banged up at the skill positions, most recently with Rashee Rice. We will discuss how everything looks for the Kansas City Chiefs right now and where the hell this team goes from here. I got some ideas for Reid and Brett Veach. We'll examine here in just a moment. Before we do, in the lead up to Monday night's game between the Chiefs and Saints, we are in a sub-battle with our Saints channel, hosted by Trace Gerard. Trace, great guy, great friend, but I got to tell you, his team is a fraud. That fan base is a joke. We need to show them who's boss. We need to not only beat the Saints on the football field, but we need to beat them off the football field as well. Sub it up, sub for dubs. Let's show why we have the best fans in the National Football League. Subscribe now for daily Chiefs coverage right here on the Chiefs Report. Let's beat Saints now. All right, so here's the key Chiefs injuries, where things are at the moment for the Kansas City Chiefs. Marquise Brown with a shoulder injury. He is on IR. He is not expected to be back until probably January, probably come playoff time with that injury that he suffered that he had surgery on. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the running back position with an illness is on the non-football injury list, and there's no sign of CEH making a return to the football field anytime soon. Isaiah Pacheco with the lower leg injury. He is on IR. He's not expected to be back for about the next somewhere 4 to 7 weeks, somewhere in that range. And then you got Rashee Rice, who is out. And at the time of this recording, it looks like it could be a while before Rashee Rice makes a return, if he makes a return at all with that knee injury. So what have the Chiefs done since then? Well, Juju Smith-Schuster was brought back after being released by the New England Patriots. Remember, he was a part of a Chiefs Super Bowl just a couple of years ago and was the replacement of Marquise Brown on the roster. We've seen some flashes from Juju so far this season, but not much consistency just yet. Then Samaje Perine was brought in as the replacement for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And Perine, the role that's been carved out for him is more so in the passing game. Carson Steele, in the first 2 games since Pacheco went down, has been your bell cow for the most part. Kareem Hunt's kind of your short yardage back. And then Perine's role is as kind of that third down receiving back. Kareem Hunt was brought in for Isaiah Pacheco and had a solid game this past week against the LA Chargers, and hopefully there's more to come from him. And then the replacement for Rashee Rice is still TBD. I would expect the Chiefs to make a roster move of some sorts, whether it's signing somebody or a trade, whatever it may be. When we know, you will know here on the Chiefs Report, and we'll keep you posted there. So far, through the first 4 games, with where the Chiefs are at with these injuries, credit where credit's due. Andy and company have done a very good job to manage to get through each of these individual situations. But now the question becomes, is it too much? Is it too much to overcome? Eventually, when injuries pile up, there is a point when enough is enough, that you can't overcome all of it. This team's still 4-0. Have they reached that point? I don't think so. But it's going to take some maneuvering. The Chiefs have some work to do to get through this situation they're in right now. Are the Chiefs still the team to beat in the National Football League? Has that changed with the injuries, or are they still the team? Type Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in, let us know in the comments section. Next man up, where do the Chiefs go from here with their injuries? Let's start with the obvious one, and that is Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, arguably the greatest tight end to ever play American tackle football. And we saw Travis Kelce not look that good the first few weeks of the season. And then last week against the LA Chargers was a breakthrough performance. And what the Chiefs need to see from Travis Kelce is more of what we saw last week. We need to see that consistency. Remember the haters and the naysayers, people like Todd McShay, that fraud was saying that Travis Kelce was out of shape, that he's lost a step in all this. And I didn't believe that for a second. I think that he's been double-teamed, he's triple-teamed, but the Chiefs are going to have to find ways to work around that, whether that's using Noah Gray or Jared Wiley as a decoy or trying to get more creative. They're going to need to find ways to get Kelce more involved, and that's the easiest solution. That's the easiest fix with where these injuries are at, is more Travis Kelce. If Travis Kelce can step up, then you feel a lot better about the situation if you're Kansas City. Xavier Worthy. I love me some Xavier Worthy, but here's the thing when it comes to Xavier Worthy. What we've seen so far in the first few weeks is that he has been a gadget player, if we're going to be frank with you. Now, to the Chiefs' credit, they've used him effectively as a gadget player. We saw the long touchdown catch he had against the Chargers. We know about the reverse that he had week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. They've done a good job of working with that. But now that you don't have Rashee Rice there, this is where things change for Kansas City. Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are totally opposite, different type of receivers. Rashee Rice is a pure possession receiver. Xavier Worthy is your deep threat, your speed guy. And basically what's going to have to change now is, yes, you still want Xavier Worthy to be that deep threat and to be able to push the football down the field and be explosive with him. You still want that to happen. But what the Chiefs need now from Xavier Worthy is, all right, can you give us a little bit of what Rashee did? Can we count on you to get 10 yards? Can we count on you to get 12, 15? Keep the chains moving. 17 yards of reception's nice, but I need those targets. I need those receptions to come up. The average might come down as a result, but I'll take it. I will take that from Xavier Worthy. Just find ways to kind of put him in that Rashee Rice role to an extent, but don't necessarily take away the deep threat ability. Andy Reid and company's got to find that balance to work with Xavier Worthy there. Do you believe in Xavier Worthy? Is he worthy? Weigh in, let us know. Type B for believe, D for don't. Chime in right now. Speaking of Xavier Worthy, we have his jerseys on sale at chatsports.com/worthy. Got the home red, got the road white, and because I am such a nice individual, I am offering you free shipping as well. So what are you waiting for? Get your Xavier Worthy jerseys on sale now at chatsports.com/worthy. No better time to get these than right in the middle of his rookie season, folks. The link is in the comments and description of today's video, chatsports.com/worthy. We also have other Chiefs gear that you can see for yourself. Go to that link, chatsports.com/worthy, to get yours today. Carson Steele, the unsung hero of the offseason, an undrafted free agent out of UCLA. Honestly, there was no expectations at all for Carson Steele entering training camp, and then he shocked the world and balled out. Looked very good in the preseason. Ended up making the roster. And with the injuries that occurred, with what happened to Pacheco, with not having Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Carson Steele was the next man up, and he got the start the past 2 games. But the problem for Carson Steele has been protecting the football. In the first 4 games, he's already fumbled it twice. And as a result, Carson Steele got benched in that game against the Chargers, and we hardly heard from him again in that game against L.A. We know that Carson Steele can be a solid running back. We saw what he did in Atlanta, getting 4 and 5 yards a carry. Sure, he's not going to be the burner. You're not going to see him go off for a 60 or 70-yard touchdown run, but that's okay. I don't need that from him. I just need him to be consistent, go get me 4 and 5 yards at a time, and protect the dang football. The easiest way to get benched as a rookie is turning it over. Carson Steele, hopefully he's learned that lesson. I hope that's the case, that Carson Steele has figured that out. I am of the belief, I was talking to my buddy Jeffrey Cooperstein about this the other day, fumbling is a choice. It is. Protect the football. Whatever you got to do. I remember back in the day when I was playing Pop Warner football, you know what our coaches would do if we were having turnover issues? They'd make us go sleep with the football in bed. Protect the football. Learn to protect that thing. Carson Steele, sleep with the football. Do whatever you need to do, because that is the only thing holding you back. It literally is the only thing holding this guy back is the fumbles. He's got to do a better job. Last on our list on the next man up approach for the Kansas City Chiefs, Kareem Hunt. I like what I saw from Kareem Hunt last week against the Chargers. I was pleasantly surprised. And the thing that surprised me the most was he showed some burst. He looked fresh. He looked rested in that game against the Chargers after not playing since last season. He showed some speed that we haven't seen from Kareem Hunt in years. I hope it wasn't a one-hit wonder, like that song All-Star, but it needs to continue. I want to see more of that. If Kareem Hunt can do what he did against the Chargers every single week, that'll work. That'll cook with some bacon grease. If Kareem Hunt can continue like that and be a difference maker, then watch out. You look at the upcoming schedule for the Kansas City Chiefs, and it doesn't get any easier. The Saints have looked very good to start off the season. That's a Monday night primetime game. You get a much-needed bye week. Hopefully these guys can freshen up, get healthy. Then you take on a San Francisco 49ers team off the bye week on the road. We know Andy's the best when it comes off of a bye week, but that Niners team, they haven't looked great. You know that they're going to want that one, want their revenge from the Super Bowl. You play at the Raiders, and the Raiders got all sorts of problems right now, but it's still a divisional game, still a rivalry game on the road. You take on the Bucs on Monday Night Football. Baker Mayfield's balling out. Big Tex is all excited about that, of what he's seen from Baker Mayfield to start the season. And then you take on another divisional opponent, the Denver Broncos, and then you play the Bills after that. And maybe by the time we get to that Bills game, we're talking about Pacheco making his return, maybe a little sooner than that. But the reality is, the truth of the matter for this Chiefs team, as you go through these next stretch of games, number one, stay healthy. Cannot afford any more injuries whatsoever to key players. That's number one. But number two, although you have some temporary solutions at the moment, if you're Brett Veach, if you're Andy Reid, don't be afraid to be aggressive. If you're aggressive and find those pieces and put this team back on track, this team's going to be just fine. You get through this situation, you get Pacheco back, you eventually get Hollywood Brown back, and everything can be A-okay. What will be the Chiefs' final record this season? How will it shake out? Weigh in. Let us know in the comments section. Subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report for continuing Chiefs coverage. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. Yeah. Final segment. We need some more questions to the mailbag. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Tony, Matthew, Phil, Donna, Bryant, Rugby Gamer. I need some questions from y'all. I am putting 2 minutes on the clock. We'll begin the mailbag in 2 minutes, but I need you guys to get your questions in the next 2 minutes. if you want in on this mailbag segment. Tony's saying the Chiefs are going 13-4. Lenny says 15-2. Rugby Gamer says 14-3. Let's see what else. Keep getting in your questions for the mailbag. I need some mailbag questions. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. $ next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute, support the show here today. There's the Super Chat menu. First-time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 do the Mahomes song. $10 to take down some shots. $20 will get Bean Boozled. $50 will do a beer bong. Get in there. Get in there. Get your questions in. I'm seeing some good comments like Bout Time and Lenny and others, but why are you not using the hashtag Chiefs? Why do you not want to be in the mailbag segment? I feel like the Bernie Sanders meme. I'm asking you again, please. This is a free chance to get in the show. Just send me some questions. I want to answer them. I want to talk to the kingdom. Yeah. I need some questions. Feel free to send them our way. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. The only way we can pull them up with our software is if you use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. So, okay. Yeah. Perfect. Like I see Tony's got a question. About time. Come on. It's about time. Get a question in the mailbag. About time. Like Kyla, I want you in the mailbag too. I want Vonda in the mailbag. I want Paul. I want all y'all to get in the mailbag segment. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we'll include it. I got another minute before we start this segment. Your last chance to get in before we get this thing going. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we'll include you. We get your message that you have. There we go. Rugby Gamer's got the right idea. Thank you, Rugby Gamer. That's one. I see Tony's got one. Give me two more. Two more, and then we can start the mailbag segment. And we'll get started. All right. There we go. About time. Thank you. About time. I need one more. Anthony skipped surfing for this. Man, I would love to be surfing right now. That's some dedication. You must be a diehard Chiefs fan. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you being here. Where would you be surfing at, Anthony? I'm very curious. What part of the country, what part of the world are you surfing at, Anthony? He says, come to Hawaii, brother. I'm there. I've never been to Hawaii. Big Tex, you're a regular to Hawaii, aren't you?
Oh, you make me sound spoiled when you say a regular, brother.
You've been many times, haven't you?
I have with my family. Fortunately, I have visited.
How many times?
I think I've been 3 times in my life.
Okay, so maybe not a regular.
Not a regular, but I've been to Kauai, Maui. The Big Island's really freaking cool.
You know enough to give somebody a tour, though.
For sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan says, I skipped sleeping for this live in England. Well, you can sleep when you're dead. So thanks for being here, Ethan. Paul skipped surfing to be here. He's in Florida. Very cool. Ethan's going to the NFL games in London as well. Ethan, you're what's the game in London this week? It's Vikings. What's Vikings Jets? Vikings Jets. You're going to that game in London this weekend? That should be fun. I wish I was going to that game. I'll be here though. We'll be here for Chiefs and Saints coming up on Monday night here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. I like this from About Time. He says, just got home, sipping on some 101 proof bourbon and chilling with my dog. I like that. Paul, no space, and it's got to be Chiefs. Hashtag Chiefs to get your question in. And we'll get started here in a moment. Ian says hi. Hi, Ian. Tony skipped his workouts for the Chiefs report. Big Tex never skips his workouts. Are you still doing like 2+ hour workouts?
Nah, man, I ain't got time for that. Like an hour.
Okay.
Cutting back.
Can't skip leg day, though.
Cannot skip leg day. You don't want to be that chicken leg guy.
Is that the most important of the workout days for you?
It is. And a lot of people it should be because it's the only muscle group in your body that generates testosterone and human growth hormone when you work it out. Your upper body does not. But the receptors are in your legs. So leg day is very important for overall muscle development.
Yes. All right. Kevin, that's a good question, but you got to use hashtag Chiefs. Kevin, use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we'll get you on the mailbag. Yeah. All right. Yep. Perfect. All right. I think we're good to go. All right. Oh, sad. There's Super Chat menu, too. We did get a couple Super Chats today. Thank the Lord. After not getting any last week, I was very disappointed about that, but you guys delivered. If you want to send in a Super Chat, your questions will get answered first. First time Super Chat to get the KC chant. $5 to do the Mahomes song. $10 to do some shots. $20 get Bean Boozled with the spicy jelly bean. $50 to do a beer bong. And we'll make it happen as we continue here with our live coverage here on the Chiefs Report. Mailbag time. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. And I believe we are just about ready to go. All right, here we go. Mailbag time starts right now. It is time to touch our bags and drop our sacks on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Mailbag time. You got questions. I got answers. You're in luck. We will get right to it coming up in just a moment here on today's show. We're talking everything from some trade ideas you guys have thrown out there to the latest happenings in your favorite team. We'll cover it all here in just a bit. Before we do, I want to make sure not only you're subscribed to the Chiefs Report, but you also have your notifications turned on. You're part of the Noti gang. Those are the folks that never miss a single episode of the Chiefs Report. When we go live every Tuesday, our watch parties every game day, when we have new content with breaking news, our news and rumors, our Q&A mailbags, all of that. And if you want to be a part of our next mailbag segment, then turn on your notifications and join us for our next live show. You'll be notified so you can get your questions in, and I'll answer your questions in real time. Subscribe now, turn on notifications. We'll get started with today's show. Rugby Gamer, the first question this week, writes in, do you think Travis Kelce will be the same as he was last year? Do you think Carson Steele is the future for this team? Let's start with the first part of this question, then we'll get to the second part. So last year we saw Travis Kelce have a down year, right? Under 1,000 yards. He did miss 2 games. Missed the first game of the season due to injury. Sat out the final game of the season because they didn't need him. Their playoff position was already secure. But he still was very good. And then he was fantastic in the postseason. So far this year, what we've seen from Travis Kelce is a slow start the first 3 weeks, and then came to life week 4 against the LA Chargers. I think for Kelce, it's shaping out to be a similar season for him this year compared to last year. The main thing I just need to see from Travis Kelce is that he shows up when it matters. In the big games, come playoff time, especially with how shorthanded this team is right now with no Rashee Rice, with no Hollywood Brown. I need Travis Kelce to show up when it counts, and I think he will. The second part of that question, do you think Carson Steele is the future for this team? No, I don't. No. Isaiah Pacheco is the guy until said otherwise. I love Pacheco. I think he's one of the best backs in football. He was off to a great start at this season before he got hurt. I cannot wait till he returns. I think he's going to have a strong finish to the season. Carson Steele's not bad. He's got to work on the fumbling issues. But Isaiah Pacheco is that guy till proven otherwise. Casey Fandom writes in, could the Chiefs trade for Davante Adams? So, first off, can we all just have a laugh at the Las Vegas Raiders right now? Davante Adams requesting a trade. Ha, 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 ha. The Las Vegas Raiders. The gift that keeps on giving, right? Now, let me say this. The financials do work for potential trade for Davante Adams. He's got no guaranteed money in 2025 and in 2026. The draft capital, I think the Raiders are looking for about a second-round pick potentially. That all adds up. But there's one big issue here. That is the Raiders. And an intra-division rival. I mean, if Mark Davis is going to trade Davante Adams to the Kansas City Chiefs, then his father, Al Davis, is going to rise from the grave and haunt him for the rest of his life. His dad and Raider Nation would never let Mark Davis hear the end of it if he had the balls to trade Davante Adams to the Chiefs. I would take Adams in a heartbeat. It would be great to have Davante Adams in Kansas City, and this would be huge for this team. He'd be a great impact player. He's still one of the best receivers in football. But I just find that hard to imagine, hard to believe that Mark Davis is going to let this good of a talent go to the best team in the NFL, who happens to be in his division, who just happens to be their biggest rival. I would love it, but I just don't see it likely. Let's ask you, should the Chiefs trade for Davante Adams? Type Y for yes and for no. Weigh in our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think, if the Chiefs should trade for Davante Adams or not. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in and let us know. Love the Chiefs writes in, should the Chiefs trade for Keenan Allen? Now we're getting a little more reasonable here. Keenan Allen, I'll say this. I've been very disappointed in Keenan Allen. I expected more out of Keenan Allen since he joined the Chicago Bears when he was traded from the LA Chargers this year. But that receiver room is so crowded in Chicago. They brought in Rome Odunze. They got a number of other guys in that receiving room there in Chicago. And Caleb Williams just isn't playing that great to start the season at this point. I think you could potentially get Keenan Allen for pennies on the dollar. I think that's one that makes a ton of sense. There's another player from the Bears that I'd be potentially interested in trading in. That's Khalil Herbert as well. And I'll say this, the Bears, this is a team that doesn't look that great. The expectation was for the Bears that they could contend for the playoffs this year. That's kind of looking unlikely right now. They might be sellers at the deadline. Keenan Allen, a good possession receiver. I know he struggled to stay healthy at times, but Keenan Allen could make a lot of sense. I'd be for that. Should the Chiefs trade for Keenan Allen? What do you guys think? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in. Let us know if the Chiefs should trade for Allen or not. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to Kansas City Chiefs games, Royals games, Sporting Kansas City, KC Current, and more, they got you covered. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. Then you choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, get the 3D visual with their seat views, and then you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You also got to check out their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's going to be one you don't want to pass up on. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Got time for a few more questions here. Let's start with about time. Where did Hill say he was trade hunting? I didn't hear him say he was trade hunting. I don't know where that came from about time. We did hear Davante Adams requested trade. But Tyreek Hill, trade hunting, I wouldn't say he was necessarily trade hunting. But if you go back to Monday night, he was visibly upset. And there's a bit of trouble in paradise in Miami right now as that season is going downhill, going down the drain quickly in Miami here. I would love Tyreek back in Kansas City. I think he'd be welcome back here with open arms. If he were to return, he's going to be in the Ring of Honor one day. He's one of the greatest Chiefs of all time. But the financials for both sides, for both the Chiefs and the Dolphins, just don't make a ton of sense for a potential trade. Ruby Gamer writes in, do you think Isaiah Pacheco will be back before the Tampa Bay Bucks game? I am not a doctor, so I don't know. I would hope. I can remain hopeful. I can be optimistic, but we haven't gotten any clear and direct signs yet of when that return will be, but we'll kind of just wait and see at this point when it comes to Pacheco. It's too early to tell, but if he could be back for the Bucks game, that would be great if the Chiefs could get him back and go forward from there, because this run game is totally different with and without Isaiah Pacheco. He's a top 10 back in this league. He is the heart of this offense. You got to run the football in this league. And the Chiefs, one of the things they've adjusted when they've been shorthanded these receivers the last few years is they've become a run-first football team. They run the football up in the passing game. They need Pacheco back. Last question. Bryant wants to know, Patrick Mahomes win the MVP this year still? It's going to be tough. He's not off to a good start to this season, statistically speaking. He has rallied his team to win games. That's the all-important thing that matters. But, you look at what's ahead, and with how shorthanded that receiving core is, the offense just not being that explosive, and the way that he's been outplayed by other guys, it would be very hard to imagine Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP this season. I don't think it's going to happen. Could it happen? He'd have to cut back on turnovers, and the offense would have to get more explosive. And some of the other guys have to slow down a bit. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about the MVP award. I care about the Lombardi Trophy and Mahomes getting the Super Bowl MVP. That's the only MVP award that matters. So we'll see. Subscribe now to the Chiefs Report for the latest happenings in your Kansas City Chiefs all season long. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. We are just about done. No. Reminder, folks, join us next Monday night for Chiefs and Saints right here on the channel. I'll be here. Big Tex will be here. We will see you then. Continuing coverage on the channel all week long. Stay tuned for that. And if any news breaks, we're going to bring you a video here on the channel. So stay tuned right here on the Chiefs Report. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night. We'll see you next time right here on the Chiefs Report. So long, everybody.